Get ready, hockey fans! In the fast-paced world of NHL action, we've witnessed jaw-dropping hits, questionable plays, and the occasional mishap that led to suspensions and fines from the league. But today, we're diving deep into the archives to explore some of the most significant suspensions in NHL history. From bone-crushing hits to controversial incidents, these suspensions have left a lasting impact on the sport. So buckle up as we count down the longest suspensions ever handed out by the NHL. Kicking off our list at number 7 is none other than Eddie Shore, whose name resonates through hockey history. Suspended for a whopping 16 games on December 13, 1933, Shore made headlines with a sucker punch that changed the course of a star player's career. His target? The Toronto Maple Leafs' Ace Bailey. The brutal punch resulted in Bailey fracturing his skull, effectively ending his time on the ice. While some speculated it was retaliation for a previous incident, the fact remains: Shore's actions had a lasting impact, and the consequences were felt far and wide. But with just 16 games on the sideline, it's clear that the NHL's disciplinary measures were a far cry from what we see today. Oh, how times have changed. Coming in at number 6 on our list is Dale Hunter, whose actions during Game 6 of the 1993 playoffs resulted in a 21-game suspension. In a heated matchup between the Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders, Hunter found himself on the wrong end of a play when Islanders' Pierre Turgeon stole the puck and scored, putting the Islanders ahead 5-3. Frustrated with his mistake, Hunter took out his anger on Turgeon, who was celebrating the goal at the time. The incident left Turgeon with a concussion and a separated shoulder. With Gary Bettman newly appointed as NHL commissioner, this high-profile case became a statement of his administration, leading to a hefty suspension for Hunter.
In his 13-year NHL career, he's never been too far from the game's dark side. Now the game may finally make Hunter pay. There is a playoff precedent. Ron Hextall's premeditated attack on Chris Chelios 4 years ago earned him a 12-game suspension that started the following season.
Number 5 on our list is Dennis Wideman, who received a 20-game suspension from the NHL. This unexpected suspension came after the Calgary Flames defenseman collided with linesman Don Henderson on January 27, 2016. Upon reviewing the hit, it's evident that Wideman didn't see the linesman and the collision appeared unintentional. However, due to the severity of the incident, Wideman was handed a hefty suspension. Interestingly, moments before the collision, Wideman had been on the receiving end of a hit that left him disoriented. Despite his apology to Henderson and his denial of intent to harm, the NHL stood firm on the suspension, sparking debate among fans and analysts. Moving on to number 4, we have Chris Simon, who was suspended for 25 games on March 8, 2007, for one of the most reckless plays in NHL history. After being hit from behind by Ryan Holweg, Simon retaliated by using his stick as a weapon, striking Holweg in the face. Although Holweg sustained a cut and required stitches, he returned to finish the game. Simon received a match penalty, and Nassau County prosecutors even reviewed the incident for potential criminal charges. As a result, Simon was sidelined for the remainder of the year, including 14 regular season games and any postseason matches the Islanders played. In his statement following the suspension, Simon expressed disgust with his actions and acknowledged that there was no place for such behavior in hockey. At number 3 on our list is Chris Gordy, who received a staggering 23-game suspension. What makes this incident even more astonishing is that it didn't occur during the playoffs or the regular season, but rather in a preseason game. During the Tampa Bay Lightning's preseason matchup against the Washington Capitals on September 29, 2000, Gordy Dwyer found himself in a heated altercation with not one, but 2 Capitals players, Joe Murphy and Joe Ricci. While tensions ran high, Dwyer, seemingly blinded by anger, engaged in physical altercations with both players. However, the situation took a drastic turn when Dwyer physically confronted linesman David Bresboy, although it would have been quite the plot twist if his name were Joe. Subsequently, Dwyer was escorted to the penalty box, only to evade his confinement and return to the ice, reigniting his scuffle with Joe Ricci while also grappling with another official. As a result of his egregious actions, Dwyer received 2 minor penalties for charging and roughing, a 10-minute game misconduct, and 3 game misconduct penalties. Each of these game misconduct penalties carried an automatic suspension, resulting in a total suspension of 23 games. This included 10 games for leaving the penalty box and an additional 10 games for Category 2 and Category 3 physical abuse of an official. Second to the last, we have Jesse Bulleris, who faced a hefty 25-game suspension. Flyers forward Jesse Bulleris incurred this suspension for cross-checking Vancouver Canucks' Ryan Kesler back in October of 2007. Bulleris's actions prompted an automatic review by the NHL after he received a match penalty and a game misconduct. NHL disciplinarian Colin Campbell, upon reviewing the incident, acknowledged that while Bulleris's actions were reprehensible, the outcome was not as severe as it could have been.
You said it during the break, Coach. You really can't defend that one. I mean, you can't use your stick up high to begin with. He got an unsuspecting player, and Jesse's gone for this game. And
Campbell expressed concern that had the consequences been more severe, the repercussions would have been more severe as well, which would have been detrimental for all parties involved. In response to the incident, Ryan Kesler remarked that Bulleris had at least shown some respect by reaching out to apologize. However, this wasn't the first time Bulleris had found himself embroiled in controversy. Back in 1998, during his junior hockey days, he faced charges of assault with intent to cause bodily harm after an altercation with a Guelph Storm player.
Here comes Bulleris. Here comes Kesler, and there's Bulleris, and he got him pretty good. He got him real good. And this out of nowhere. Kesler comes from behind the net. He's right at the bottom of your screen, and here comes Jesse Bulleris with the cross-check right up high.
Finally, at the top spot, we have Andrew Dan Maloney, who faced not only a suspension, but also a 2-year ban. Maloney's actions on November 4th, 1975, marked the first instance in NHL history where an on-ice incident led to a trial. Playing for the Red Wings against the Toronto Maple Leafs, Maloney unleashed a brutal attack on Leafs' Brian Glennie, employing his stick and throwing a series of punches. Notably, Maloney was renowned in the league for delivering some of the hardest-hitting punches of his time, indicating the severity of the assault on Glennie. Consequently, Maloney faced charges of assault with intent to cause bodily harm by the Ontario Attorney General at the time. Although the charges were eventually dropped, Maloney was banned from playing in the city of Toronto for a staggering 2 years as a result of the incident. And there you have it, folks. A wild ride through some of the most jaw-dropping suspensions in NHL history. From sucker punches to stick attacks, these incidents have left an indelible mark on the sport. But hey, let's remember to keep the game clean and respectful out there. Before we sign off, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more thrilling hockey content. And if you have any suggestions for future topics or want to share your thoughts on today's suspensions, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for joining us on this wild journey, and until next time, stay safe, stay passionate, and keep the spirit of hockey alive. Cheers.